Before you go on your first escorted run, watch this video, trust me. What's up, Road Warrior family? It's Wavy checking back in. As y'all can see, I am in my truck. That's a reoccurring theme, but it makes sense because what? I'm making some money. Like I said in my previous videos, if I'm in my truck, I'm making money. In today's video, I want to break down what to expect on your very first run as a pilot car driver. We're gonna go from how dispatch will reach out to you, how you'll get the job, the nerves that you're gonna feel, the butterflies that you're gonna have in your stomach, how you're gonna reach out to the driver, how you know where you're going, what the load number is, all of the little nuances that you're going to need to know for your very first run. So stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into everything you need to know before your first escorted run. So first off, most of y'all will either deal with a load board or a broker. A load board is basically on Facebook. There's actually a couple apps that you could use, but it's basically just trying to find loads from whatever destination to whatever destination. Now, once you apply for that, or you say, hey, I could do this, or your broker says, hey, can you do this? You say yes. Now, 99.99% of the time, all load boards are ran by a broker. The ad that is listed is from a broker. You don't know who that broker is. It could be a good broker, a bad broker. Let's just weed out the bad ones and say, you got a good broker, you're going on your first run, you signed up for it. That is your broker. Your broker is your dispatcher. So what he's gonna do generally is tell you exactly where it's at, where it's going, what's needed, whether it's a high pole where you need a big pole because it's tall, or whether it's a chase position because it's wide or it's too long, or so they'll tell you exactly what they're looking for. You can accept or deny. Once you accept, they should send over an email or a text with all the information that you would need. Where you're meeting at, the date and the time that you're leaving, and where you're going. 1,000,005 things can happen. So I would always say, before you go on your first run, don't tell your family, your friends, or whoever, like, hey, I'll be back this day because it says it's only gonna take 2 days. Because a 2-day trip could turn into, it could be 2 days, maybe 1.5 if the truck driver wants to go super fast, if nothing happened. But let's say he blows out a tire every 3 hours, something bad happens, there's a wreck, there's traffic, whatever. You guys hit curfews, which some cities, they don't permit you unless it's outside of a certain area. So, going through Dallas, Fort Worth, between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., you can't be on the roads because everybody's trying to get to work. So they do that on purpose. So I always tell people your start date and time and location will all be true unless you get a no-go or the load pushes, which you will know in advance, right? But your delivery date is expected to change. And I like to lead with that because not everybody has the time frame to do it, right? We delivered, actually, prime example, I delivered in California on Monday. We were supposed to leave on Tuesday or Wednesday today. Now, I got confirmation this morning that we're not leaving until Friday. So I had 4 days of not making nothing, right? They paid for my hotel room here and there, but at the same time, I could have been at home chilling. So always make sure that you're putting in the effort and that you really have the time and that you really want to do this. Your expectations as a driver, anybody who's part of the Road Warrior family, who's certified, who's went through all the steps and is going on their first run, I want y'all to be on time. And what I mean by on time is if the truck driver says, hey, meet me at 9 a.m., I want y'all there at 8:30, 8:45 at the latest, because that perception of you showing up early, showing that you care, right, is gonna make their job even a lot easier. It's gonna take the nerves out of them because they're already nervous because they have this big load that they have to travel. They're the truck driver. They probably have the hardest job, right? It's our job to communicate with them and to make sure that they don't hit anything. But at the end of the day, even if we mess up our job, it's still taxing on them. So they're probably just as nervous as you. So make sure that you're there early, you set the expectation, and everything's good. I tell you this, like I said, get there early, 8:30, 8:45. If the trucker's late, don't make it a big deal. Don't make it a big deal. Tell your broker about it. Don't even bring it up because you can only look out for you. Now, if you want to be a repeated customer and get called back to work because they like you, they like your work ethic, they like, your attentiveness, you can only worry about you. Don't worry about the truck driver being late. That's if he told you to be there at 9 and you show up at 8:30 and he doesn't show up until 11, that's on him. That looks bad on him with the company. You tell your broker, and I guarantee you're gonna get some downtime, right? So me personally, any downtime that I get, which downtime is essentially if the truck has a flat tire and the trucking company can't get somebody out to fix a tire, for 3 hours, I'm gonna charge for those 3 hours an hourly rate, whether it's $15, $20, $25. I'm gonna get something for my time. I'm just gonna be chilling I could take a nap, whatever, but it's called downtime. So again, don't stress a truck driver being late. Just make sure that you're on time because You can only protect you, and you want to be able to get the call for all of these loads in the future. Now, the first time you meet your driver, they'll either the broker should give you their phone number. So now my biggest thing is, do I text, do I call? Because some people like calls, some people because they don't like texting, some people only like texting because they don't like calling. Just figure out, try to talk to your broker, like, hey, have you ever used this trucker before? What is he, what does he enjoy? Does he usually text you? Does he usually call you? And if your broker doesn't know and you don't know, I always start with the call, because it's like ripping the Band-Aid off as fast as possible. The faster you rip that Band-Aid off, the better that you get, right? So I called my driver for this load that I just finished, called him, went straight to voicemail. Okay, he doesn't like getting called. I'm gonna text him, shoot him a text message. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I'll be taking you from so-and-so to so-and-so on this date. Let me know what time you would like to leave. Let me know any information that you have, X, Y, and Z. Now, it's your broker's job to send you the permit. So you should already know all the stuff that you're asking the driver, but you're texting the driver, trying to communicate with the driver, letting him know who you are, right? You want him to think, okay, he knows what he's doing. He knows where we're going, how we're getting there, the routes that we're taking, right? So if you don't have your permits yet, your broker's slacking. Now, there is times where they can't get permitted until the day before or the morning of, which in that situation, I get it. But 9 times out of 10, you should have your permits early enough so that you can route them and come prepared to, the first day. Again, with reaching out to the driver, you want to know where to find the load, because they might say, hey, you're meeting at the gate 1, but something might have changed between you getting the confirmation and the broker saying, hey, meet them at gate 1, and now they're actually at gate 4, which is still on the same property, but you didn't know that. So when you talk to the truck driver, tell them, hey, any updates that you get, please reach out to me, text me, call me, do whatever you need to do to make sure that I know exactly where to meet you at. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be like, okay, that's perfect, I'll let you know. And then in the morning time, if you don't hear from them, let's say they want you there at 9, I told you to be there at 8:30. If you don't hear from them by 7 of where you're meeting, send them another follow-up text. Hey, I'm on my way, I should be there around 8:45, 8:50, to give yourself some leeway, right? Because when you show up at 8:30 and you told them that you'd be there at 8:45, 8:50, it shows that you are adamant about showing up early and your work ethic is better than most. And basically just double down, like, hey, if anything changed, let me know, I'm on my way. If you don't get anything, you don't hear back, don't take it to heart. It's not personal. He's probably busy. Nothing's changed. If something changed, he will reach out, because it's their job to do it. They can't technically leave the gate without an escort or a pilot to take them to their destination, right? So they'll get a huge fine and a ticket if they're caught on the roads without you. So in simplest terms, they need you more than you need them. But some truck drivers think that they've been doing this for so long, they don't respect you. They're like, oh, they're just driving a regular pickup truck, blah, blah, blah. It's fine. Don't take anything to heart. Just make sure that you're doing your job and you're doing it well. Nervousness is normal. I get nervous before every run. And it's not because I don't know what I'm doing. I think it's because I care what I'm doing, right? I don't want to look dumb. I don't want to look incompetent. I don't want to have these truck drivers judging me, right? Which at the same time, it doesn't matter, because as long as you're doing a good job, you should get the call back, whether they judge you for, calling things funny or whatever, or your voice. And I've always thought that I had a weird voice to begin with. I don't have a masculine voice. I've learned throughout high school and college to accept it. At one point, I was trying to talk deep like this, but it just didn't make sense, because I would forget, and then I would be like, so it's just like, be yourself. But as long as you're showing up and you know what you're doing, you routed it. So they're gonna send you the permits. The permits is gonna list everything that you need to know, every turn that you're going to be taking, every exit, every road, and then you have to go into en route, which is on your iPad, which I've told you all about in previous videos, and route so that you know exactly the turns, whichever road you're going on. You'll know exactly where you need to be. So when you get there, all the hard work was done, right? You already got certified. You already invested all the money to get your car suited up to be able to go. You already reached out to the driver, which is technically like cold calling, right? So you've already done all the hard work. Now it's kind of the fun part. Granted, I still get nervous. I don't get nervous because I'm scared to do my job. I get nervous because I got to make sure, okay, did I do everything proper leading up to this point? Because we're already here. Once you're there and you meet him face to face and you guys get in those trucks, there's no going back. So if you have a wrong turn on your route or something, you got to address it once you get there. If you're leading and you take the wrong route, it's a very bad look. That's why people in the front who are leading, which are usually high pulls for tall loads or wide loads, but on a 2-lane road, so 1 lane of traffic going this way and 1 lane going this way, I would be in the front. even though I don't have the pole. I gotta make sure. And what I do to calm my nerves when I don't know if we're supposed to be taking the turn is I'll radio back to my driver, hey, in about 10 miles, I have us going right onto I-10. Is that what you got as well? 10-4 or copy. That gives me that reassurance, like, okay, I routed this properly, because you'd rather be safe than sorry. Some truck drivers won't even come on the radio and tell you nothing, but if you say that and you have a dash cam that's running, right, it's gonna pick up your voice. So if anything goes wrong and you weren't in the wrong and you did your job and you did what you're supposed to do, you can always play that back to your broker and say, hey, it wasn't me. I called back, I turned, he never said anything, he kept going straight. Now I don't know where he is, he's not answering his phone, it's not on me. I did call it out, like, hey, this is where I have us going, is this right? He didn't, he decided to be a butthole and not reply. So if that ever happens, you would either try to get back to the truck driver or you're done. But your broker would pay you up until that point. The trucker would go on, get pulled over, get a fine, get a ticket. That's not on you. Again, nothing in this industry, take it personal. There's a lot of drama in this industry, and I'll get into that in a whole separate video, but I want all Road Warrior family members to, when you get in this industry, don't take anything personal, don't take anything to heart, and stay out of drama, man. Yeah, it gets lonely out here, and everybody wants to talk about everybody, and did you hear about this truck driver, and he did this, and they did that, and they were doing this, and them two slept in the same hotel room, and this X1. None of that matters. If you're Road Warrior family, we don't do drama. And if you do drama and I find out about it, well, I'm not gonna do nothing because, you know, I don't really personally know you. But just please don't make us look bad, because I think Road Warrior family could be the next big group of people that are, you know, my age, whether it looks like me, talks like me, acts like me, my age, older, whatever. People who are new to this but have a great work ethic, because Road Warrior family does not discriminate, we don't judge, and we only worry about ourselves, right? And the family that we have, actual family and Road Warrior family. If anybody needs help, wants to give me a call, wants to talk on the phone, wants to text, like, hey, I'm feeling nervous before this, I don't know how to, absolutely reach out to me, you know, reach out to me. I don't mind helping people get through their jitters of the first run that they have. With nervousness comes, you have to mentally prepare. Mentally prepare for a truck driver who is a butthole. Mentally prepare for long days in the sun. Mentally prepare yourself for, hey, we're leaving, but we might get a flat tire 20 minutes into it and have to sit for 5 hours. Mentally prepare. Bring yourself some snack, water, protein bars, protein shake, energy drinks, because if you're running at nighttime, you might get sleepy. It's not the best industry that you could possibly be in, right? But for what it pays, if you take time, which is why one of the biggest reasons I want to create this YouTube channel in the first place was because I want a Road Warrior family to know how to be healthy, how to maintain mental sanity while doing this. Because in my years of doing this, I've seen some, you know, people got kegs for bellies, which is totally fine, nothing against it. But I want to show people that you can still be healthier than most in this industry. That's pretty much it leading into your first run. Now I'll tell you what my first run was like, because it's going to be different than a lot of yours, and it might even be the same as some of y'all's. So my first run was actually, I'm trying to think, my very first run that I did was a team run. A team run is where the broker reached out to me, hey, I have this going from Texas to Florida. Can you make it? You're gonna be in the truck with another person. It's gonna run continuously. You're gonna leave Texas, drive 22 hours straight, and deliver in Florida. I'm like, sure, I could do that. So they pay for my airline ticket. So now I'm packing all my stuff. I'm excited. Granted, my teammate was actually my mother. My mother, she's been doing this. She lives in Texas, so to her, she just drove her truck. I was gonna fly and hop in her truck. So I'm packing all my bags, which it was just a backpack, because all I needed was a couple pairs of underwear, a couple socks, whatever, because it's 22 hours straight, and I was already back in Florida where I live. Take the bullet train home from Orlando, and I'm back in Miami in no more than, let's say, 30 hours. Now, they paid for my flight. I got on that flight. There's no going back once you get to the airport and you get on that airplane. So I land. Granted, mine was a team run, so that's why I'm telling y'all, and I can't stress this enough, to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, you're routing everything properly. I had the liberty of my mom, who's been doing this for 8-10 years. She already had everything routed. It was her truck, it was her equipment, so I didn't even have a truck ready to go. All I had was my certification on my defensive driving and my Louisiana permit. So I basically had all the paperwork that I needed, but I ain't never done this before. But guess what? The broker didn't tell anybody that it was my first go. So what did I do? I drank 2 energy drinks, because the first 8 hours that my mom drove, she drove first. I'm literally in the passenger seat looking at her, watching everything she does for, let's be realistic, it was more like 6 hours. She drove for 8, but for the first 6 hours, I'm watching her like a hawk, because I need to know everything that she's doing, her tendencies, what she's doing, when she's calling things out. Okay, she's leading this. So she's saying, hey, our exit's in 2 miles. So before any turn that she makes, she gives about a 2-mile buffer. Okay, cool. So I need to add that to my note. Then I slept for 2 hours. Then I woke up and I had to drive for 8 hours. It was stressful, but it helped me, because if I didn't watch her when we switched and she went to sleep and I couldn't ask her no questions, I would have been screwed. Mine would be a little different than yours if you're doing it by yourself. Granted, I think team runs are cool. A lot of people dislike them. I think that they're cool from the simple standpoint of, I flew in on Wednesday evening. We left Thursday early morning. We got delivery Friday before the sun came up, and I was home before most people woke up in Miami. So I was gone. I was able to shoot photos and hang out in Miami all day Wednesday, took a night flight, woke up Thursday. So I was basically gone from the middle of Wednesday to before anybody woke up on Friday, and I made like $1,300, which is crazy to me because it was less than 48 hours total, and they paid for the flight. So team runs, I really enjoy. Right now I'm on a solo run. I'm in California. We don't leave till Friday. Then I got to go back all the way to Florida. Now, granted, I was able to work my way into a position where I kind of have the same truck driver, the same load. Truck driver's cool as heck. I wouldn't trade it for the world. He's, you know, he does have his moments where I feel like he's just being a butthole, but guess what? I can't take it personal. I can't take anything personal. If I wake up late and he's mad about it, dang. Hey, I apologize for that. It happened once in the last 12 days. My bad about that. My alarm, it just didn't set right. He can ignore me for 3 hours. I said I was sorry. It's on him to forgive me for that. Because at that rate, we're already on to the next thing. We've took 13 million turns. We've passed 18 million semis going the other way. If he's still mad about that at the end of the day, that's on him. I can't really help that. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's easy to just let that thing go. But in this industry, you will realize it is not always going to be pretty. It's not always gonna be everybody's gonna love you for who you are and, you know, accept your apologies and whatever. Sometimes truck drivers are mean. Brokers are mean. So it's a dog-eat-dog world in this industry. That's why, Road Warrior family, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure that you stay up to date with me. And I'm gonna try my best to always tell y'all the raw facts and the raw truth about everything. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope now you're not as nervous going into your first run. So comment down below if you've already completed your first run, or when you plan on, you know, getting out there in the field and doing your first run. And we'll see y'all in the next video. Thank you. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Road Warrior family, we out.